All right, perfect. It says we're live. Hello and welcome everyone back to the Collective Minds podcast. Who do we got here? You got me, Astral, Nathan, and your boy Jay. What were you saying there, Nathan? Just a second ago.
Oh, I was just complaining, silly, first world problems. I was just saying, because you were talking about how proficient you've become with Mac and Windows, and I was just saying the amount of money I spent on a MacBook Pro, which was new at the time, 2015,
Mm-hmm.
versus what I could have got with the same amount of money in a PC is staggering. I got like a 20 or 18-inch screen. It's 128 gigabytes, which I brain farted. I didn't even realize like you'll max that out so easily. Anyways, yeah, I could have got a really badass PC, and I just regret it. I wish I never done it. So that was all. Nothing serious.
Oh, stat wise, so true.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I like iPhones is because they don't slow down. It seems. Sorry, I'm messing with this camera.
Show us your
I hate.
penis.
I I hate this camera. It sucks. So I've been having it off, and I usually don't have it on Rumble Studio. Damn it! Yeah, it's messed
Yeah,
up.
when you have that iOS, whatever they call it, environment or umbrella in your house, like the phones, the tablet, and the computer, it works great to be a seamless experience. And I'll give them that credit where credit's due. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, silly.
I'm gonna kill it for a minute until I get it up there. Ugh. Yeah, but anyway, how have you guys been doing?
Great, really good. Life's good.
It's life has changed a little bit since the new Trump years, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't feel quite as demoralizing every day. I mean, not for us at
Mm.
least.
Yeah, I know. And the left is just everything he says is a lie. Everything is, BS. Everything this, and it's crazy watching the news, which I don't watch, but just seeing the articles, it's attacks. And I'm starting to see because they came out, right? They came out in the beginning and said, listen, here's your chance. Here's your chance to tell the real news, to tell it right, and to do a good job. And those of you that are not going to do it are not going to get a chance to, have the insider and, you know, be able to participate up front firsthand. And I'm seeing a lot of the super far left leaning news, or they all were at the end of Biden, right? They were all, covering up for him. This is definitely not Jim Carrey in a suit, in a mask. He's just always been 6'4". That's what old people get taller, not shorter, guys, especially after mysterious like events where they get rushed to the hospital. But now a lot of the news channels are starting to kind of center, right? And I think they're still writing kind of the same pieces. They're just not complete hit pieces. Like they don't just talk down about Trump the entire time. And some of them are even counteracting. And I think they're starting to realize, hey, we get more views when we're not just running around and talking crap about this guy.
Well, look at CNN. They have that new conservative voice that is on there. It's that white guy that is constantly trying to help balance the scales a little bit on CNN of all platforms. They fired a couple people off of MSNBC, and good riddance. I can't wait till they get rid of that short-haired lesbian chick. What's her name? Um. Anyway,
That was Kamala. She's gone.
yeah.
Oh wait,
No,
no.
the news anchor chick from MSNBC. She's very,
Oh,
very
you
famous.
know, you know who's still trying to stay relevant is AOC.
Yeah, I just actually heard. I just saw a little YouTube short, Joe Rogan talking about her being pressed by the. She was sitting down for an interview, and she was going on about Palestine and Israel and some kind of. I don't know exactly what they were talking about, but clearly AOC didn't either because it was like right away she's asked to elaborate her point, and she just freezes and then eventually does the word salad thing for a second and then just says, I'm really not the professional when it comes to geopolitics. And it's like, oh shit, how awkward. It's painful to even
Mm,
watch.
yeah. Damn it. This camera's still trying to move.
How are
Yeah,
you
she's
feeling?
she's in pain, dude.
Yeah.
I'm good. I can't wait because it's you keep seeing hit pieces about conservatives this and that and Trump's ratings are so low and I don't believe it. and people, unfortunately, because I like to think, I'm sure you guys like to think too, people got a brain, they can figure it out, right? Like it makes sense that, hey, the eggs didn't drop on day one, and I mean he could go, you lower the egg prices now, or you're not going to be selling anything anymore. He really could, and we would go through the courts, and he'd be wrong because of the Constitution, but he's not a bad guy. That's what I see. And on Joe Biden's way out, he did two things, right? He killed like hundreds of millions of chickens, right? So chicken went up, and eggs went up. And eggs are a weird one. Eggs are almost like, if you pay attention to them, can show you what gold and silver and real money's worth if you watch it. And also he shut down all the oil rigs in the ocean, all of them that we have. Joe Biden did that. Well, it takes a little bit to shut all that stuff down. It takes a little bit to kill all the chickens, right? Well, people are doing that. It's already, just like how that judge the other day couldn't stop, that plane of immigrants getting shipped to wherever they were going.
El Salvador.
Because it's a process, and it's a big process. And once the gears are turning, it's got to finish that process. And Trump isn't able to just hold on, bring those chickens back to life. Sorry about the ads on this.
Oh, sounding pretty terrible first. Is that just me or you? Now you're back. Sound like you were underwater for a second.
Yeah.
It probably did. Yeah. I don't know. An ad popped up and it's probably trying to play through the headset and the mic at the same time.
So, how you doing, Jay? Not hearing.
I'm doing good. Stuff, things, life.
Yeah. Living the dream.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Did you ever figure out what happened with those tiny rocks that ended up on the cardboard that you had set on top of your truck during that hailstorm?
Yeah, I think it's a part of the roof shingles. Like the hail would hit the roof, and then it would, get embedded with those little rocks and then fall on my truck. And then dislodge some of those kind of thing. Yeah. And I see them around the yard, so it I guess it's not chemtrail things.
Chemtrail related.
Yeah.
Well, when you got hail the size of golf balls coming down, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. With that, there's a whole bunch of solicitors going around saying, "Hey, we can inspect your roof. We could give you an estimate, and see if there's any damage." It's like, this house is pretty new. I'm pretty sure there's no damage, or if there's any out.
Can you guys still hear me?
Like 3 years.
Okay.
Yep, we can hear you.
Just changing settings. Sorry, I want to make sure.
So yeah,
you shouldn't do that again.
Solicitors going around the neighborhood saying,
You gotta
"Hey,
love it, man.
let's take a look at your roof."
Mm-hmm.
And there's like 3 or 4 companies that's already going around the neighborhoods like, yeah, this house is pretty new. It's about 2 years old.
Shit. Sound like we're underwater again.
How about me?
No, you don't.
Yeah, that's weird. It's got to be Rumble.
It could be my connection.
Oh, you just
Oh,
came
you're
nice
good.
and clear. You're good.
You know what it is? It's Nathan's Hawaii connection.
It's the AC in the background.
All those viruses. Yeah, from the AC. It's the CIA tapping into our live chat here.
Speaking of solicitors, let me tell you guys, I have been visited by every freaking religion, door knocker, mother effers in the past 6 months that I mean, like, it's like once a week they come, and if they're not knocking on my freaking door in pairs of
want?
2 or 3, they want to freaking, you heard about the promise of Jesus? I'm like, dude, I'm a Christian. Oh, well, what kind of Christian? Well, how important is this to you? Let's talk about
the good kind.
Yeah. I'm sitting cleaning my car. These guys come up to me. Do you got a minute? I said, I'm really in the middle of something. He's like, well, do you got a minute for Jesus? And I'm like, oh my God, yes, I do. And I'm like, he's like, I can see you're busy, so just give me 60 seconds. well, 60 seconds uninterrupted turns into freaking 10 minutes. And
Oh
then he's
yeah,
like,
dude.
it's like, dude. And then he's like, so after everything I've told you, how important do you feel this message is? I said, well, talking about the end of times and saving your soul is very important. Yes, I agree. Well, how about we host a Bible study at your house next week? How about
Oh
no?
no.
How about no?
Oh
And
no.
then I go out to my car, and my trunk had one of them little pamphlets folded up and shoved inside of the handle. And then my front door and my passenger door, and one was melted to my window under the freaking windshield wiper. I'm like, if I see these guys or girls, whoever it is, putting these things on my car, I'm gonna freaking chase them. Like,
These homeless people are brazen, bro.
it's so crazy. And I'm like,
How about we
I'm
hold a
at
meeting in your house next
every,
Thursday. Let's go.
yeah, and you provide the food too, Nathan. No, it's like, it's so annoying. I'm about to put a sign up, no soliciting, and then it's like I have to check the security cameras before I open the door because I get the
Yeah.
knock, and I'm like, who is it now?
Yeah, be
Anyways,
careful before they get in and start squatting.
yeah,
I get them. Yeah, I get them sending stuff in the mail or waving at you from across the park. But yeah, when they pull up and if they're, I mean, even a knock at the door is fine. If you tell them no, they should go away and check you off a list. It's a lot like telemarketing, and I get it, but it's not everyone's mission in life to inform people. And you know why they do it? It works. I
Yeah.
think it works.
they break people down.
If it didn't, they wouldn't. Yeah, it's
Right.
interesting. That sucks. Any other ones though, or is it just religion related?
Well, speaking of, yeah, just yesterday when my wife was here, they were packing up to go to the beach house where they're staying at for the weekend. The Hawaiian Tel internet people showed up, and they're like, "We see that you have Spectrum internet. Well, did you know that Hawaiian Tel just
Love Spectrum.
installed fiber optics, and so we can give you 1 gigabyte for $60. I bet you're paying over 100 right now, and it's terrible." I'm like, "Listen, man, now is not a good time. I got it. We're getting ready to go. Oh, well, just give me one more sec." I'm like, "Fuck." So the funny thing is, we were actually considering switching to Hawaiian Tel, so it kind of worked out. But it's like, it's just the constant like, who the hell's knocking now kind of thing. And again, I'm not against spreading the good word and talking about Jesus. Yes, it's an important message. But would you guys just like you said, put my name in a database? You already came and knocked. I got the Mormons, the freaking Saturday Adventists, the what are the other ones? Anyways, I got them all, man. Jehovah's Witnesses, and the Jehovah's Witnesses are the most insistent. Like they just keep coming and coming and coming. I just started hiding in my own house. My wife's like, "Don't open the door, Nathan. If you open the door, they're gonna come back." I'm like, "Fuck."
Do you do the freeze, don't make a noise kind of thing?
Turn everything off, cover
Yeah.
the baby's mouth, run to the bedroom, put him under the blankets.
No, man, you gotta
So
pull. Oh, what's his name? All right, let's play a game here. Hippies, murders of actors and an actress.
Oh yeah.
Short. What was that?
What?
Jay?
Chi and Chong.
No.
Cheech and
He's
Chong.
not a serial killer, but they call him.
I know
serial
exactly who you're talking
Manson.
about. The
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to do a swastika with a Sharpie and come out with no pants on. They'll never come back, dude.
With a beer in my
Never.
hand.
And be like, yeah, I want to join right now.
The fuck you
Is it
want?
okay if I have these?
Yeah,
quit.
yeah.
That's funny. I had a homeless guy walk up on me and the kids a couple weekends ago. He's like, "Is it okay to come aboard?" Before he stepped on my property, and I said, "Fuck no." I said, "What do you want, dude?"
Permission
He's
to come
like, "Oh,
aboard.
something. Yeah, that's what he said, dude. I was like, "No, you're gonna get hurt. You stay back. you keep walking." That's pretty much it. He was talking about something about his sister and something. I'm like, "Yeah, well, we're new here, and no, I don't know what you want, but no." Yeah, most normal people know that when there's 4 kids outside playing in the front yard, you don't walk up to the front yard. And I all had tools and stuff in my hand because I was working on my truck, and I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's about to go down today, buddy."
Yep, you see, this is a ballpoint hammer right here.
Yeah. So speaking of religion in Christianity. Did you guys saw this these files that says like the CIA might have found the Ark of the Covenant?
I saw the headline. Yes.
Who were they using, Jay, to find it allegedly?
Huh? I don't know.
Come
What?
on. Come on.
Dick
Indiana
Allgaier.
Jones?
What?
Indiana Jones?
No, they were using remote viewers back
Yes,
in
Dick Allgaier. No, I mean I don't know if it was really him.
1988. It says.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Remote
says the
viewers.
report is linked to Project Sunstreak, is what they were calling it, a classified U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency initiative that attempted to gather information on distant targets using remote viewers, which Jay brings a lot to the group, right? Who you follow
Sure.
the most uses remote viewers when
Yeah.
when they're talking about like stocks. And I was telling my family this the other day. Individuals trying to perceive unseen or far off locations. They got the document here. Let's see.
So the target number. Oh, yeah.
Right. Let's see. What's the definition? I know what it is, but Wikipedia this stuff right here. Also known as the Ark of the Testimony or the Ark of God, is a purported religious storage chest and relic held to be the most sacred object by the Israelites. Religious tradition describes it as a wooden storage chest decorated in solid gold, accompanied by an ornamental lid known as the Seat of Mercy. According to the book of Exodus and the first book of Kings and the Hebrew Bible in the Old Testament, the ark contains the tablets of the law by which God delivered the 10 Commandments to Moses at Mount Sinai.
Cyanide. Yep.
Sinai. There you go. That was way better. According to the book of Exodus, the book of Numbers, and the, how do you say that one? Epistle?
Where are we at?
Epistle to the Hebrews.
Apostle.
In the new. No,
Where
not
the-
apostle. It's Eipistle.
I totally lost where we're at.
Epistle.
Yeah, okay,
I'm
it
not
doesn't matter. Yeah.
It also contained Aaron's rod and a pot of manna. The biblical account relates that approximately 1 year after the Israelites' exodus from Egypt, the ark was created according to the pattern that God gave to Moses when the Israelites were encamped at the foot of Mount Sinai.
Yep.
Thereafter, the gold-plated Assasii, I'm not sure about that one, chest staved were lifted and carried by the Levites, approximately 2,000 cubits or 2,600.
Acacia.
Acacia. There we go.
Yep. Type of wood.
In advance of the people while they marched, God spoke with Moses from between the two cherubim on the ark's cover. So, very important. And they said something about how anyone that wasn't allowed to find it or touch it or whatever would die. So, that's kind of like an interesting thing there, because that's definitely in the CIA's pocketbook to be like, oh, the Jewish guy died. Oh, the Mormon died. And they just keep bringing, guys in to test it. And they just, all of a sudden they explode or something. I don't know.
What's the one true religion? Here's the test. Lay your hand on the covenant.
Ooh, right. But here, I've been talking to my wife about this. This is interesting. So, like, what year is it in China right now?
Well, I'm assuming they probably use a different...
Like 3,000 something?
Is it?
Or 4,000? Like, they're way ahead because they keep track of their history.
Right.
Oh, yeah, the 4,000 something.
4,720.
4,720 on the Chinese calendars. But how many calendars is it 2025? Allegedly. It's a whole different topic there. But what I was getting to, though, is that we use like BC, right? And AD. And that's straight out of the Christian Bible. Yeah. Isn't that weird?
You know what's even weirder is now they're trying to say that has literally nothing to do with Christ and it has some completely different meaning.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They have different names for it in colleges now to remove the religious practice of it. But whether they change the name or not, there's a reason it started at that point. Mm-hmm. And it has to do with Christianity. So I was telling my wife, I'm like, it's weird. It's like it's a big board game, right? And you got some people playing a different game here on this board game and here and here and here and here. but it's all on the same board game. Really
Yeah, it's
weird.
like they're all playing on the same board game, but they got different sets of rules they're all abiding by.
Right, because whether China thinks it's in year 4,269,000, it doesn't matter. They date those checks as what?
Do they?
2025.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it's
I
kind
mean,
of
I,
contradictory.
I think so. I don't know. I'm just guessing on this one. Actually, that's a BS guess right there. But I guarantee you. I mean, I bought stuff on Amazon before, and it shows the date. You know what I mean?
Shit, I wonder what they do. Yeah, you're right.
Right. And then all around the world, the most, like, just like the dollar, universal, monetary thing that, it's backed by the US dollar, which is Christian related. Like, the roots go so deep that our time and everything is based on it. So I was like, that's really weird. Other religions don't really have that. Because if they're like, we believe it's 4,000 and something, when we all come to the table and start playing the big game that we're all in, it's the year 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you believe that, what was that the Dark Ages didn't exist, and that's why they're called the Dark Ages. Did you guys hear about that one?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the missing years.
Yeah, the 300 years, the buildings didn't change, nothing changed. There was no history written for like 1,000 years. There was history. The buildings changed all the time. For 300 years, we called it Dark Ages. We called it Dark Ages because there's no information about it. Odds are is that some pharaoh or something, right, or some king took that and said, I want to be at the year 1,000, is what they've dialed it down to. I'm the ruler of the year 1,000 because it's such an important year, right? Even though it was the year 700. So it jumped. So 1776 hasn't happened yet, Nathan. It was 1476. So it's interesting, and I always smile about it because it's like when Alex Jones says, the answer to 1984 is 1776. What's going to happen in 20? You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Wow.
2076.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also kind of plays into the whole Nostradamus year 2012, the Mayan calendar ending, and they're like, well, there's different theories. They said that the world as you know it is going to change, not or the world as you know it's going to end. But there's other people who say, well, it's because we're actually not in the year that these calendars are aligned with. We're not really hitting the year 2012 and 2012 as far as the Mayan calendar, follows. So. Yeah, all I know, one thing is for sure, we never know when that day is going to come. And, just it's so easy to forget, that our time here is temporary, and you could walk out the front door and get freaking you could choke on something and die, And so you got to really appreciate every moment. Like I have a buddy at I was at a meeting a little bit earlier today, and I just saw him a couple months ago at the last meeting, and he was doing perfectly fine. I guess right after he left, he had a fucking stroke and almost died. He was in the hospital for like a month, and I'm like, what? And so yeah, he was at today's meeting. And I was like, oh, I thought you were bringing lunch, and he said, oh no, I had a stroke. I'm like, wait,
was he vaccinated?
I didn't want to ask, but that was the first thing that came to my mind, and I bet you
gotta be, dude. It's gotta be the first thing on everyone's mind because it's not coincidental.
No.
I mean. There's been like, I gotta turn my camera on for this one. Unfortunately, there's been a few people like in your life specifically, one of which that in mine, you know what I mean? And have passed. And I believe that the root cause to all of it started with the domino effect, and I believe that's what it was. See, the thing about COVID is it didn't slaughter people. The loneliness, the seclusion, and then the shots, right? All of that mixed together, that's a hard thing to come across. Like you said, the year 2012, you wouldn't know it as before. And I was going to say that it wasn't like the next day everything blew up, right? But, I mean, even 10 years later, or 8 years later, things started rolling. The ball started going. I mean, Obama ended with a boom, and then it was Trump, and then we're starting to see something in the world that's, whoa, this is different, And then there's COVID. And I think we're still having like repercussions because of that.
Yeah.
And it's gonna continue to happen. And they won't release any results of anything for real. They won't. And that's something they should declassify. I don't know why that topic hasn't come up. You know, they've oh, we're pretty sure it came from a lab. Okay, then what? Now what?
Yeah.
How about the
Some
data?
accountability.
You know how many
So
high
it's-
school kids like hung themselves and shit because they couldn't go to school?
Sure.
You know,
so
and
that-
regular
that's
high school kids
starting
with
to come
good
out.
parents.
It's
Sorry,
starting
Jay,
to
what
come
was
out,
that?
but in small dribbles, because everything else, like all of the other news, is taking over, like overshadowing the whole COVID release thing, the whole COVID truth behind the vaccinations and the whole pandemic. I read a article the other day about Fauci admitting that he didn't know what, like he made up the whole 6 feet rule.
Yeah.
He made up.
No, a 12-year-old girl made that up. Or 8-year-old girl, something like that. She made it up. They took her into a classroom and she decided like, hey, you know, like what would help? That and the masks. Like a little girl made that up.
Social
Was
distancing.
the rule. Yeah, they
Yeah.
went off of that. It was a
Yeah.
child that, and they're like, that's a good fucking idea.
That's a fucking retarded idea. It's like, what, you think because you're 6 feet away, you're not going to breathe the person's air? What the fuck? And then you take a step forward because you're next in line and you're now in their little air bubble
Their
that they were in,
pocket of air.
their pocket of air. Like, what the fuck? Oh, I don't even know. It's not like fucking looking at a green fart coming out of somebody and, you know, you can see it. I mean, well, you
Yeah.
can't, but it's like,
The only thing that should have happened was they should have closed off public restrooms. That was it. Because they're disgusting already.
oh,
And they should just do it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? They should have a guy like how, you know, you see the movies and the rich places, they have a dude sitting in there. They should have to hire a guy that just cleans the bathroom after every time someone leaves. Or just it sprays down with something. I mean, public restrooms are absolutely disgusting, but that's how we get tougher. And I had this conversation the other day with he's an independent, but he's I'll tell you guys what, he's getting ready to become a conservative. He's slowly moving. You could tell he was a full-blown libtard, and he's like, we were talking about it in vaccines, and he's like, well, people just don't have, you know, the immune systems they used to. They used to swim in shit and everything. And I'm like, okay, but that's not like a genetic thing. We haven't become weaker. Like people can get back to that, you know, generally, you know, I mean, drinking out of garden hoses, that kind of, you know, that argument. But it's crazy when you start going, no one gets germs, everyone gets germs.
Well, you know what I think is really interesting? So we talk about things in the group and just amongst this whole community in general talks about things like the mud floods, Tartaria, great resets, ancient civilizations with advanced technology that we were never aware of up until this point. Yet we always reference back to, oh, well, back in the day, people were so, you know, they didn't have advanced medicines and they were dying left and right from all these diseases. Well, if they were so fucking advanced and clearly they were able to harness like ether out of the freaking atmosphere and stuff, Nikola Tesla was onto things. Like everything's a fucking lie, man. And it's like we always reference back to how underground and Stone Age primal people were, and it's like maybe they weren't. Well, you can't have both sides of the pie, you know. It's were we advanced or were we not advanced?
I don't know, but you go 50 years before that, right? You know, 50, probably 100 years ago, 50 years before, you know, back in my day, you know, people lived in slop.
Mm.
That's how it was. You know, a dog's mouth today is still cleaner than a human's mouth. And that's why I always had my kids, I called them floor babies. Like my youngest I raised from a month old, and she was a floor baby. You know, I'm not the parent to, if I give you some grapes in a bowl and set it somewhere and you drop them on the ground, I'm not going to go, no, don't eat that. I go, fucking eat it.
Yeah.
You know what? My kids don't get horrifically sick.
Strengthen the immune system.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, it happens all the time. You shake people's hands, you go to a public restroom. I mean, you grab, this is the thing that I don't think people realize. When you go into a store and you grab a drink out of a cooler, you don't know where that's been. Do you wipe it off? I do now,
Yeah.
but most people don't. They just crack it open and stick it right to their mouth.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. And if Jaron was here, he'd tell you all about it. I
I
guarantee.
was just gonna say, okay, so not Jaron, but another
Shit, I
guy.
guarantee you.
Yes, dude, the people who stock Red Bull, just one example, Red Bull, they keep that shit in their trunks, and it's in their trunks for days, and they're driving all over. It's not like they unload and reload. These people are sent to grocery stores with Red Bull tanks, packages in their trunk, shit rolling all over the place. Then they bag it all up, bring it into the store, stock it into the shelves, and then I'm just like, holy shit, man, nobody's keeping track of where the stuff, and even just through shipping processes, it's like you don't know if that person, if someone behind the scenes over there picking their nose or itching their ass or what, and then they touch something. It's everywhere.
No,
It's,
they are. They
Yeah.
are.
yeah, I'm just saying,
They're
it's
doing
like
all that.
the fact that you are like, my wife is a perfect example of a complete germaphobe, and she stresses so much about my son. Oh my God, he's gonna touch the floor. I'm like, let him for the love of God. How do you, and I always tell her, because she's so particular about every little thing, and I said, it's a wonder that anybody survived before your level of parenting came along. How did they do it? I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But I pulled up. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it's
blurry.
with. Can you see the background? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can see it now. It's kind of coming in.
Well, measles, because I found this out because right now they're like the measles, right? What happened to the bird flu that was going to come out? I think we all got it, and they weren't able to push it because some weird flus went around. It was like 2 weeks of 2 different flus, and that's not normal. And you know what? Honestly, if it's the bird flu or whatever they want to call it, you know where I think it came from? I think it came from the flu shots, and they gave it to everybody else. They're literally genetically modifying the flu to, prevent sickness and stuff. But I think that's where it came from. And at the same time, they're laughing because you got to pay $20 for an egg. But measles side effects is diarrhea, vomiting, ear infection, which that's weird. That can't be right. Bronchitis, pneumonia, encephalitis, pregnancy problems. That all is from a weakened immune system, but typically, right? I don't know if I sent you guys those videos, but it was the Brady Bunch. So the Brady Bunch did an episode where everyone got the measles. Well, they treated it like the chicken pox. Well, what happened to the chicken pox? Where she's all on the phone to the husband, hey, he's got the measles, and he's like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, well, he's got a low grade fever and he's got red dots or a red rash and whatever, and then they all end up with the measles. And that used to be a thing. They used to hold measles parties back in the day. They'd get kids and they'd get them all sick, and then it'd be done. Don't have to worry about it anymore. But now you hear the measles and it's everyone's gonna die, they're all gonna die. And it's not real. What is real? What do I got to be scared of? Because I'm not scared of a damn thing. And maybe that's the fact about it, is they want you to fear. But
it's constant, living in a constant state of fear. Absolutely. You're talking about TV shows like the Brady Bunch. My son watches Little Bear, and Little Bear was a show created when we were growing up, and like they had an episode where Little Bear got the mumps, and he basically just had a cold, and they were like talking about the mumps and, oh, you'll be okay, just do this and that, and it's real simple. And then all of his little friends, the duck and the hen or whatever, all come over and visit him, and it's like, oh, Little Bear's got the mumps. Oh, okay, well, we'll see you in a couple days when you feel better. And it's like nowadays everyone's like, the mumps, the measles, chicken pox, oh my God. Yeah.
Liberals will shut the border over that, but nothing else, right? You dirty little fuckers. That's funny.
Hey Jay, right. What do the Filipinos think about measles, mumps, stuff like that?
Just stay home.
Yeah, nothing was like a catastrophe.
Yeah, it's mainly it's categorized as like a rash or flu. That's it. Just stay away from other people and just get better. It's nothing,
45. I'll be right back.
Okay.
It's nothing really serious to a point where, oh my God, I'm going to die. No.
Yeah, that it's weird when I don't know exactly when that all ramped up, but they started. I remember flu shots became big when I was in middle or high school, somewhere in there, and everyone's talking about getting the flu shot. And I'm like, this is crazy, and they're like, yeah, but you're going to get really sick, and then you're going to be better, and you're going to have a strong. I'm like, what? But it's weird. I was going through my phone on Friday. Yeah, yesterday. I was just sitting there going through my phone like crazy. Just deleting a bunch of old pictures and shit. And I came across the stage of 2020. Like the year 2020 in my phone, the gallery of all the pictures of me, like my test results being sent to my phone, of whether I could go to work that day, me wearing masks, and the videos of me talking with a mask on, and the picture of the line of people at the testing centers that they had at Ala Moana Mall or at the airport, and these gigantic lines, and the shopping, the crazy shit show of trying to get food or eggs or water or whatever during the pandemic. It was so crazy going through that year of my phone gallery. Have you done that? Have you had an experience like that yet?
I don't think I had much pictures during that time.
Mm,
I guess the only time I had pictures was when I moved over here to Texas,
mm.
and I was still wearing my mask because it was still mandatory on the flights. But once you're out of the airport, it's free reign. Just take it off
Yeah.
because you're out in the open kind of thing. And yeah, Texans they don't like masks.
Do you remember how awkward it was? I mean, like, I still did it. I still took my shit off, but I remember my wife just looking at me and being like, "Aren't you afraid of somebody like confronting you?" And I'm like, because I'm not wearing a mask outside. Like, I'd go to the mall, and it was like
Come
it's like
get it.
wearing a what's that?
Come get it.
Yeah, it's like wearing a Trump hat. It's like people, all eyes are just looking at you like, oh, he doesn't have a mask. And it's like, we're out fucking side, dude. The wind is blowing 20 freaking miles per hour. What are you
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about? Meanwhile, they're in the car, windows rolled up, alone with two masks on,
With the AC blowing.
with the AC blowing. Yeah. Well, I had a video I came across of me in line at the airport, and I was making a video. I must have sent it to the group or something, but I didn't have my mask on, and then someone walked up while I was making a video, and they're like, "Sir, you need to put a mask on." And I'm like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yes, seriously, or we're gonna ask you to leave." It was like one of the videos I shot. And I'm like, they just told me to put a mask on. It was so crazy just watching all these videos because you forget. It's easy to forget, like, really what went on, but damn, what a reminder! Having
Yeah,
to send your results, your test results, to go to work.
yeah. You live in libtard haven. I
Yeah.
was fortunate at the time to work with very strong, heavily armed conservatives. However, they were also assholes. So I've moved on from that. But yeah, I remember having to do the mask a little bit too, and that's as far as it went. That's as far as it went. And do not forget, this is something we got to tell our great grandbabies.
Yep.
And I don't, I don't know what to say about it because it's like you should have stood up, and a lot of people got screwed for that, and a lot of people did. Some people stood up. A
Mhm.
lot of people went with the flow and kind of pushed back against it, and then got fired, and then they ended up getting all their pay, like wages back. Like in New York, they fired a bunch of people who wouldn't get the shot, and then what was it? Almost 3 years later, they're like, you have to pay them back pay. Could you imagine having another job by then, just being all right, and then you get all that time of back pay? That'd be sick.
Well deserved too. What I
Yeah,
really fucking hated was all the, and I'm sure this will be applying to some people, and I don't mean it personally to any particular person, but all them fuckers who are getting relentless unemployment checks, and then it's like, then they got to the point where they didn't want to go back to work, so they're gaming the system, and they're like lying, and I'm listening to my
what
friend
the
bitch at me about how he was able to lie and get another 6 months worth of checks while I'm fucking going to work and getting harassed about not taking a shot. He's over
hmm
there playing video games and bitching because the government's behind on his checks. I'm like,
not
my
not
tax
very
dollars are
essential.
That's right. And it's like I worked through the beginning when there was no vaccine, when I was an essential worker, and now I'm looked down upon because I won't take the vax and I'm still working, while you fuckers are complaining about me on the internet collecting unemployment that I'm paying for with my tax dollars. But
Yep.
yeah, great memories, man. We got don't forget. Yeah.
Well, you guys saw that. I mean, we probably weren't paying for it, but we are in a weird way because of inflation. But Elon Musk found how many computers that were printing like ghost money or whatever he's calling it? Did you guys see
I think
that?
like 14. Yeah, it was 14. That's
Yeah.
just
What's up with
printing
that? Let's
magic
hit
money
that.
that's not being accounted
Yeah.
for in
Thanks.
the Federal Reserve.
You are the best AI I've ever had in my life, dude.
What is this, Jay? What are you
That's
talking about?
So Elon Musk discovered 14 computers that was
there
not
we go.
embezzling, but creating money out of thin air. That's
Yep.
not being reported back to the Federal Reserve or the Treasury
Yep.
to keep those, like, take account of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, they were
Means the
printing
dollar
infinite
don't mean
money.
shit.
Yeah, infinite money without accountability. Like, they're not accounted for.
Mm.
So who knows how much extra dollars is out there? And this could very well fuel the whole inflation thing because,
Mm.
It's
like,
IOU.
if they printed like trillions unaccounted for on top of whatever exists right now, like all the printing stuff that went to the Ukraine, and the Israel, stuff, like that's gonna devalue the US dollar to a point where it's just worthless. And then stuff like the BRICS will be so much more attractive to countries. In addition to like precious metals, because if you can't get into the club of the BRICS, right, you got to fall back on something. So you have no choice but to rely on whatever gold or silver or whatever asset your country has. So yeah, if the dollar just goes to shit because we all of a sudden discover there's way too much money in circulation than what was originally thought there was circulating, then yeah, it's like the last I heard it was, like the US dollar is worth 2 pennies. Like if this is true and then they find out how much actually was magically printed without any entity knowing about it, I don't know. It could be really possible that a gallon of gas could be like $20.
Well, that's a whole nother topic I could tell you. How much water is in the world, Jay? Do you know?
Well, you know, just I could go to the
Like,
nearest body of water, and it'll just try
like
to drink it, and it's
it's
salty.
right. Whether
But
salty or not, there's a shit ton of water on this planet,
yeah,
right? There's more oil right underneath the soil than there is water on this planet. That's the like one of the biggest conspiracies about that is they tell you it's hard to get, they tell you that it's limited, they tell you it comes from fossils and dinosaurs and stuff, but it's not. It's
yeah,
naturally made from the earth and it should be like 5 cents a gallon. They won't tell you that though. That's the crazy part. But they didn't print the money. That's the thing is they didn't print it. It's not about them inflating it. They told us how much they printed. Trillions of dollars. They
no,
sent it
yeah.
over, you know.
This is digital dollars that's just magically appearing.
This is them sending someone a paycheck for $1 million. The bank says okay because it's pretty much an IOU from the government. And the government doesn't have that physically. They don't have it. They don't have it in gold, silver. They don't have it in farts, dude. They don't have it in nothing. They don't have it printed. Nothing. It's like Joe Biden wrote IOU and with a smiley face, and they just added some zeros to nothing. That's what it was. It's insane. Which means that they can just say, "Yep, we paid you." And it'll show up in your bank account, and you can show up at the bank and pull it out. But that's the crazy part about it is if everyone showed up to get their money out, there's not
Well,
enough fucking money.
guess what? Whoever is holding physical dollars actually have dollars, because anything in your bank account anyone can put a zero at the end or take away a zero. That's what these magic computers did. They just put a one or a whole number in the front and then a whole bunch of zeros at the end, and then started sending that to people that they wanted stuff done. Like, because these magic computers, they're not connected to anything, and it's like a uh, it's the basically the bank account for black projects. Like anything you want done behind the scenes under the table, I'm pretty sure they got paid by the one of these 14 computers. And going back to the whole oil thing, I heard that oil, the whole crude and stuff, is the second most abundant thing liquid on Earth, next to water. That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. It's wild because they keep making these plans, right? We need to go we need to go here, a different planet to get these resources and stuff. But it's crazy. They know it's crazy. It's crazy to even, try. Whether there's a firmament or not, it's crazy to try when we have everything we need and more here.
Hmm.
Like it's gonna take another. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, I was gonna read this. He said, "It's insane," said Musk, as Cruz asked him about magic money computers. So you may think that the government computers like all talk to each other, they synchronize, they add up what funds are going somewhere, and it's coherent. I call it a magic money computer. Any computer which can just make money out of thin air.
Yep.
Absolutely insane.
So when's the shoe going to drop, and when are we going to be, faced with the repercussions of their actions? Because this is going to catch up eventually. It seems like it's all coming to a head.
Yep, that's what's going on right now. Nathan's asking about that 5D chess, Jay.
Hmm.
I love it. Yeah, that's what's going on. If you were to take over a business and the business had just spent money like that they didn't have, let's just
Hmm.
call it that, because this is money that doesn't even exist. So let's call it money that they couldn't make up, right? The first thing you would do is not only stop the money, but start making other people that were in on it start paying you back,
And the problem
right?
is they created this money, and so there's no way to pay it back because there's not even it's beyond the circulation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can't pay what.
Let the little brother third world countries eat it, right? That's what Canada is. That's what Mexico is, right? Attached to us. That's what Doge is. Doge is sitting there cutting the funding to go, nope, done. Boop, we're done. We spent stuff we didn't even have, done funding everything, right? And then the tariffs are, you're paying us back.
Mhm.
You're paying us back. You're right. These guys are going to run out of money, but it's not going to be us. It's going to be them.
Well, what I'm worried about is that's a whole deeper layer of debt than you can even imagine. It's not like we spent money that actually exists. We spent money that doesn't exist. So there will never be a reconciliation of this. It's
How?
going to be,
Well, the only way to delete money is to delete a country.
oh, as
Well,
in absorb into our.
Yeah, it's not a
One
bad
of my
plan.
one of my buddies that lives in Canada in Vancouver, he was telling me that what part of Canada? There's a Quebec, maybe. Damn it!
Toronto.
Shoot. Anyways, he was saying that there's an area of Canada that's like really highly conservative, and it's also their main financial district. And he said um, that basically they're threatening to join the United States, and if they do, it's going to completely screw. If they don't vote in a conservative, and then it's going to completely screw over Canada. Let me see if I can find it in his messages. Uh, breakaway Alberta. He says what most Canadians don't think about is that Alberta may break away from Canada and join the U.S. That would break Canadians back. They cannot survive without Alberta. Alberta is 100% conservative, and they're tired of liberal BS. They're already talking about breaking away. Most Canadians don't know or realize how close they are to actually doing this, and that they have the money to do this. President Trump would jump on this in a heartbeat. It's the richest province in all of Canada. Oil, coal, natural resources out of their ears. Interesting. Yeah, he's brought this up to me numerous times talking about that. Alberta.
Interesting.
They want it, but there's a lot of different Canadians there, and the problem with Canada is, a lot of them like Trudeau, and Trudeau is about as far left as the California governor.
Apparently, this guy's even worse. Carney or whatever his name is, Mark Carney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's going down, and I'm seeing this like day by day because the company that I work for, and like next year I'm going to be running, is owned by another company that is based in Canada. So I deal with Canadians every day. Yeah, and it's not just like, it's not separate. Like it's two companies acting as one, so we're sending and they're sending, and it's a lot of shipping and receiving and the tariffs, and you can feel it, dude. You can feel it because Canadians talk like these ones. They talk to us like we're the little country that could, even though they're the little country that can't. They're the size of California, and it's an ego thing, and it's really sad to see, but I mean, it's pathetic. I mean, Canadians need to get it together. They've lived off the US for long enough. If you're not going to play ball, if you're not going to do exactly what is said, I mean, we got your ass.
Well, and they could just take it.
Yeah, I mean, the president of the United States, I should probably turn my camera on for this one. The president of the United States could say, we're going to invade and take your country. Within just a couple hours, they're going to go white flag. Same thing with Mexico. That's why all these funny TikToks about people going, oh, U.S., is going to mess with the cartels. Bullshit. You think that you're, because they're pretty much first world countries. They're just poor as hell. You think you're silly liberal, which Mexico's liberal as well. First world asses is going to handle the United States military. Abso-fucking-lutely not. Good luck. You couldn't, and even if this is to China and Russia and, even, Europe as well. There's no one on this planet that could take the U.S. Because after our military's done, you have every citizen in the U.S. gun loaded, knows how to use it. It's our terrain. You want to talk about guerrilla warfare, man. There's a reason Trump is the big swinging dick in the room when he walks in. And it's not, he's probably got a little pecker. You know what I mean? It's not about that. It's because the U.S., when used right, is the most dangerous thing on the entire planet. And that's why we fund everything. That's why our soldiers are there. It's because our leaders have been like, okay, yeah. It's because in your back pocket, that we could just wipe you off the face of the earth.
That's why we police the world.
The world, yeah.
Well, and with Canada, like my friend was saying, Alberta breaking away, we could just take the country one province at a time. I mean, it doesn't even sound like it's a matter of Alberta wanting to secede from Canada and join the United States. It's not even forcefully going in and taking it from them. So, and what we always hear, and this is just American news, but is that our military protects Canada, and their military is not actually standing up and protecting as much as we have their backs. And so it's like the little brother picking a fight with the big brother behind him, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, well, our military is the best in the world, not only because of our constitutional, the Bill of Rights. It's because we've spent the past 100 and how many years in war. I mean, you could be a 90-something-year-old general, but I mean, everyone knows combat, and any of these militaries now go to war, everyone that's there, all those 18, 19, 20, 25, 30-year-olds, they're going to be shooting above the head because it's hard to kill another human being.
What are you saying, Jay?
We also got those 14 magic computers like funding all these black projects.
Absolutely.
No.
I gotta say this though real quick because I keep seeing people popping in and out. If you're new, subscribe. If you like what you see, hit a like, let us know you're here. But if you guys leave a comment on this live chat, we're on Rumble, by the way, for the person on YouTube that's watching. If you leave a live chat, I think even YouTube, it shows the live chats. We'll respond. So if you have a question or anything, don't feel, like you can't. Just set it up and I'll try to pay attention and we'll respond.
Yeah, we're happy to make this an open discussion.
Yeah, that's what this is. That's the greatest part about this.
Yeah, and we're talking about black sites and fake money being used to fund things. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was the big UFO disclosure, and during that they were talking about how there are these black book organizations, I think, that are like creating technology that goes so far beyond what we could even comprehend that that we really have to like try to come to the table with them and really like work together with them instead of just saying you can't, because they could just wipe us out with the things that they've created. They could just turn the board over and it would be done. Do you guys remember that whole conversation? They had like a whole conference about it.
Yeah.
Richard Greer, I think, was there.
Yeah.
Makes you think a lot about what's the potential of that. Underground bases and shit, who knows?
Well, if dollar does like inflate to gazillions, and we're just fending for our own, these companies, they gotta do something to survive, right? So they might start selling off these technologies that they backward engineered or created that's decades ahead of what we currently have out in public right now, to the highest bidder. Like it might not be money, it could be like resources. Like, oh, we need these projects to continue. We're gonna need a whole bunch of toilet paper. We'll trade you this for like 50 pounds of toilet paper.
Sure. Yeah, I got what you're saying. Yeah.
Technology to progress. So they need food, they need water, they need stuff for their employees, because they need their employees to stay happy, and employees need to make a living, right? So, how do you compensate them? So, yeah, if money goes to shit, like someone's talking, like these secrets will come to light. It's gonna come out because someone has some family that they gotta feed, and they're desperate to get food on the table somehow. And if this one little box that can do this amazing thing, like teleport you to the other side of the world in a matter of seconds, and can net you like 50 pounds of gold, which you could trade for goods for your family to survive, then why not? It's gonna be tough. Once people realize like the money machine has been abused. I'm really interested in how things will unfold, especially once Doge discovers how much these computers put out. Is it in the trillions? Is it in the quadrillions? And it's going to be hard to account for all of it on top of what we have now that was actually printed.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have to create a new system altogether that everyone's going to have to agree to. And I bet you we're not the only country that's done this. I mean, come on. Yeah, they're gearing up for something big. I mean, especially when you look at like the news coming out of like, oh, they're talking about releasing the Epstein files and these 14 terabytes that they, which is interesting. Did you say there was 14 computers they found too?
Yep,
Yeah, so
14
14
match computers.
terabytes they just supposedly discovered, and they came out and Pam Bondi, is their name? Pam Bondi?
Dan.
The no
Oh, Pam.
Pam.
Yeah, Pam. Yeah, Pam.
Yeah. Anyways, they got the files and they had to literally disperse it over all FBI precincts and have volunteers come to the table to say, I'm willing to review this because it's so horrific. They can't actually make somebody watch the stuff they're exposing. Like, what the fuck? And how is that going to affect? They said there's hundreds of new victims that have been added to the list, new perpetrators. And this is just what's remaining after these people in the FBI have gone and permanently deleted a lot of the real bad stuff. But imagine how the world's going to take this when it finally comes out, the truth of what has been going on. Human trafficking is it's nothing to squint at. It's a big deal.
Absolutely not. That's awesome because I'm uploading this picture. I'm trying to get it. Let's see. Oh man. Let's see. Gotta get this picture up. So yeah, 165 school employees have been arrested on charges relating to child sex trafficking. Like, what is it this year? I think this year, you guys.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's something going on.
2 minors. What the? Well, did you see that video? I don't. Maybe you showed it to us. Somebody posted it in the group, but it was of the PTA meeting, or no, it was like the school board meeting, and they were asking why a or multiple cameras or something was found in the girls' locker room, and the board tried to like
They
hightail it
started to
away.
walk away. Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Tried to
freaking
leave the
parents.
gym.
Yeah, and the parents blocked him in and said, "Oh no, you don't."
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw that. Yeah, it's starting to hit them where it hurts, and yeah, they
Fucking
deserve it.
monsters, dude. Yeah, fuck them. It just I can't imagine what kind of sick bastards are out there doing this kind of stuff. And they've gotten away with it for so long. They're starting to slip up. They're starting to they're
Oh
getting
yeah,
caught.
during the Biden administration, they were comfortable, and
Yeah.
now they're being watched. They just don't know they're being watched. That's why they're getting caught up. Did you guys see that? And it's coming. This Epstein stuff. I mean, there's something coming. They know it's coming. I mean, I don't believe that Trump's going to cover up for Epstein. I don't believe that because he's the reason Epstein got caught.
Mm-hmm. It's all about timing.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
it might not be him, but people in his staff that's probably 2 layers deep might not want that information to be released, even though their boss is saying, "Give me the info." The whole FBI thing, like they didn't give Kash Patel all that intel.
Mm-hmm.
They had to go to New York and raid that office to get the information.
Yeah, I think it was the Southern District.
Yeah, it's not the people that we put in to address this. It's people that's still working in these agencies that's trying to cover it up.
Stay behind networks.
Is Myanmar. See, this is what you got to do. This is how I do it. Where is Myanmar?
What is Myanmar?
Isn't it like
So
off of India?
that's where a crazy earthquake just happened. 1,644 death toll. Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Holy.
Yeah, it just happened, which is crazy because like we know they control the weather, and we know that I don't know if it was I can't remember which country it was, but a country voted against Ukraine joining the UN during Biden's administration. All of a sudden, they had the biggest earthquake ever recorded. Like 3 days later, they were warned. They were warned like something bad's going to happen, and they had an earthquake, and that's how this stuff lays out most of the time. But I was just trying to find out, and I haven't dug at all, but why this is happening.
So it's Myanmar and Thailand.
Hmm.
Like there's a
Mhm.
video, like
This
incomplete.
could be China, couldn't it?
movies.
This could have been China.
Could be.
Weird.
Yeah,
And
they're
then there's.
saying.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying 1,644 dead and 3,480 people in, or 408 people injured as of this moment. And you got to think about it like, and there's over 139 still missing. But when shit like this goes on, hospitals are like brought to the ground. Like, it's
There it
not
is.
like you just have a place to fucking help people.
There it is. Right there.
Yep.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
There it
yeah.
fucking is. There it is. That's why the earthquake happened.
Wait, what? What am I missing? here?
Myanmar quake death toll rises to 1,644 as resistance movement announces partial ceasefire. There's
Against what?
a civil war going on there.
Oh shit.
Yep. There you fucking go. Isn't that easy? See, if you just kind of like change the title just a little bit, you kind of see like, why would this happen? No one goes, oh, an earthquake happened. Why did it happen? First article. Boom. Partial ceasefire.
You know what else is interesting is how when these major events happen, be it a bombing, a terrorist attack, an earthquake, and some natural disaster, a war, they sometimes will fall on these like demonic holidays, satanic holidays, and like honoring the god of blah blah blah. And so it's almost some of these events can be tied to what you would think is ritualistic murder. Not saying that this is what it is, but it's always another angle.
Oh no, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. I mean, we're gonna have to do a deep dive one of these days, and it's gonna be gross. But I don't care, or I'm gonna have to do it alone. I don't care. But that's what the whole Jewish World War II thing was. That's what that was. That was ritualistic sacrifice.
Oh, you know about the concentration camps?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, all of it. And I mean, the fax is like 150,000. They say millions. It was 150,000 or 180,000. And it's not the 3.6 million that we were told or whatever. It's crazy. But yeah, ritualistic sacrifice. The Zionic. Yeah, they've been doing it forever. That's a crazy thing.
Look at the pharaohs.
They're like, we want to stay in this one this time. Well, let's play victim and let all the subordinates get murdered, and then pay for it too. Absolutely disgusting. But
the pharaohs would toss babies into freaking pits of fire honoring Moloch. They'd feed the babies to crocodiles to freaking try to prevent the prophecy of the coming of God's messengers and stuff. It's like.
Well, that's the thing about religion. It's always, I'm better than you no matter what. I'm always closer to God than you no matter what. I mean, when you believe, this goes back to the ADBC thing. When you go, my leader hasn't came yet, and the book says there's something going to come. It's the Antichrist. And it's it's a bad thing, and then they're going, my leader's a warlord, it's going to come up and you're all going to be slaves or murdered. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying that they're kind of on the wrong side.
There's a book, it's a manga and an anime called Full Metal Alchemist, and very interesting. Highly recommend this book and or anime to people to watch. But they talk about that ritualistic side. So alchemy, basically modern day chemistry and physics, is what was once alchemy. And maybe there are hidden sciences that we don't know about, and there's a mystical aspect to it. But from what we can determine nowadays, it's just forbidden sciences before have been evolved and more openly accepted to now where it's not looked at as Satanism, and it's just modern day physics and chemistry. But in the show they talk about these giant civil wars between Ishbal, which is the Ishbalans, which are a desert race of people very similar like the Middle East, going to war with a military unit kind of like Europe or America. And they're fighting for what the military people believe, the peons or the officers believe, is like they're fighting for freedom and liberation and all these things. It's like this noble cause, but really what they're doing is they're wiping out this race of people and using them as a giant ritualistic murder to then oh, that's your comment, to then create, they funnel all the souls from these murders into creating a philosopher's stone. And the spirit, the essence of the human is what together combined creates this philosopher's stone, which then can be used to amplify magic and amplify the transmutation of elements and whatever they want to use it for. It is a crazy one. And then they talk about, so like the Ishbalans are getting wiped out, and they decide to send their leader. The leader says, I will sacrifice myself to President King Bradley, or the Fuhrer King Bradley, and hopefully that will be the final death in this battle, and I will, I'll sacrifice myself for the good of the people and let my death be the final one. So he presents himself to the Fuhrer and says, presents his case, and the Fuhrer says, you think one life is worth more than another? You think one life is worth thousands of people? I don't care who you are. No, this is about wiping everybody out. And the guy's like totally in shock, and he says, our God Ishbal will strike you down. How dare you? And then he's like, okay, let him do it then. I'm right here. If your God has your back the way you believe he does, let him strike me down right now. And of course, nothing happens. And then they just fuck. He's like, now take these dogs out back and handle them like the rest of the prisoners. And they just shoot them, kill them, like it's nothing. But oh man, you got to watch, because you think about, like I said, how these catastrophes, natural disasters, bombings, wars, whatever happen on these holidays that coincide with satanic rituals. And it's like, why would you take people to the slaughterhouse like the Jews during concentration camps? Why waste these lives like that? You could use them for slave labor. Why are you just killing them? And I don't know, I'm not saying that slave labor is a better alternative. I'm just saying, if you control everything, if you are the families that control the wealth and the power of the world, you create the money systems, then money doesn't matter. Resources don't matter. You run it all. So what is really going on with these wars? Why are we doing it? Is it just population control? Like, I think there's multiple layers to this shit, man. It's not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Multiple layers, and it's. I mean, in the movies, dude, it's like sacrifice instead of the chicken, the goat, a person that's the ultimate sacrifice. And they're like, we're going to do as much as we can. And you're right. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's already written, and still, like, it goes back to earlier, right? Like, we're still using BC and AD.
Well, what really, sorry.
Oh, I'm done.
Oh, what really fucks me up is we talk about these rituals where people are like harvesting adrenochrome from kids and shit. What if the fucking concentration camps were just these giant operations of harvesting shit like that? Like, I mean, what, we don't know what was going on behind those walls, but you can only imagine. You hear about people getting eaten, these satanic cannibalistic rituals, like I said, harvesting adrenochrome, the fountain of youth, all these things. It's like, I
can tell you. I can't tell you what was going on, but I can tell you something that kind of closes that for you, right? Or opens another door, one of the two. The thing that was going on in those concentration camps was good enough, was real enough, was more advanced enough that the U.S. government created Project Paperclip and took every single leader of those projects, those studies, those mass killings, those murders, and brought them, hired them, and covered it up into the United States.
You're right. Yep. They headed our freaking space program. I mean, they run the medical industry of the world today. Bayer and fucking all the major medicine companies are run by Nazi families and shit.
Well, it's crazy because I'm not sure, Jay, if you remember, or if, Nathan, if you remember, but the Nazis were looking for something out of religious text as well, and it might have been the Ark of the Covenant. Which means if that's the case, that either the CIA is telling the truth, which is highly unlikely, or that the Nazis had found it. We recovered it, and then they created documentation later to kind of prove that they had it.
So, I don't know what I missed, but I just wanted to show you guys this. I found this at Book Off. It's called Nazi Occult, and it goes into like their freaking rituals they did, like some of the table of contents, the Secret of Runes, the Thule Gesellschaft, the Hidden Energies, the Anna Nibre, the Tibet and the Secret Kingdom, Unholy Quests, Action Hess, Werewolves, Black Sun and the Fourth Reich. Further reading, watching, anyways, it's crazy. It goes into like all this interesting text about the stuff that the Nazis were doing. I'll send some pictures in. Maybe we can talk about it in the group and do a
Oh yeah,
thing later
we're
on
gonna
it,
have to
but
go over this.
it's a freaking crazy book. It's full of pictures and articles on people and stuff. So, anyways, yeah, just thought about that as soon as we got on that subject.
Gotcha. Yeah, I need to hear about that. I got questions right away. Let's see. I hate how I just have so many ads on this. I can't use Safari on Rumble for some reason. So, and I haven't set up all my ad blockers. But any last topic you guys want to hit before we end this one?
I'd like to hear something from Jay.
Oh, I know. I'm missing his voice.
Nothing comes to mind.
Well, I'll tell you guys.
Okay.
What you want to know?
Crypto.
It's one of those ask the question and something might pop in my head.
Well, while you think of something real quick, I'll just share it. These people, these things, they walk amongst us. You know, we don't know whether we're interacting on a daily basis with aliens, robots, fucking pedophiles, Satanists, you know, whatever, fill in the blank. It's just like people are people. Like
I call them all demons, Nathan.
Well, one thing I deal with on a regular basis out here in Hawaii, especially, is the fact that, like, celebrities, for example, and when you're in a small town like where I come from, you think of these people, even like in the 90s and 2000s, you looked at places like Japan as like this mystical place that, you know, you'd never be able to get to. And if you just got a Pokemon card that was in Japanese, it's like, oh my God, how did you get that? And these people, these places are not as far away as you think. They're all around us and easily accessible. I do work for celebrities out here. I have a friend out here who used to work for the major video game companies, Squaresoft and Konami. He's friends with Hideo Kojima. And so one thing you got to think about is that you never know who these people are until you never know the people you know. You know what I mean? Like really what they're all about, what's going on. And the reason why I bring this up is, so like I do, I'm not going to get into like my line of work and all that stuff, but I was doing a job one day years ago, and we went out to this place in Hawaii, out here in Hawaii. It's up on this hilltop, and it is a huge, beautiful mansion, and it's got this huge property with a giant backyard, and it's like a Buddhist temple in the backyard they have, and a shrine. And so, anyways, we're doing the work on their property, and I just look in one of the windows, like, you know, it wasn't like spying or anything, but I just happened to look through one of the windows, and it's a Japanese guy who owns this property. I mean, I don't know that everybody knows about this place, but in his freaking main living room, he's got this hand painted like 6-foot picture of the Emperor of Japan and Hitler side by side in his living room. And I'm like, what the fuck? We're over here doing all this work for this guy, and he's like a freaking Nazi, or, you know, maybe not necessarily a Nazi. I think that Japan and Germany was allied back then, but it's like a modern day, you know, whatever the fuck that is. To this day, they still are out there with the same ideals and, you know, idolizing the same evil people. You hear about the fact that a lot of the Nazis, including Hitler, escaped to Argentina. They didn't die. They weren't held accountable during the military tribunals. Those were underlings. And you know, the people that are in Argentina, there are there are villages who still, they're great. They have blonde hair, but they're Asians and they got family connections to Nazis. And so, what I'm trying to say is the people, they're out amongst us, and we probably walk past them and interact with them on a daily basis and don't even realize it. So, anyways, just wanted to share that. It's not like it's just gone. It still exists. This shit's still going on. Look at Ukraine.
Yeah, it's not going to stop.
No.
Things that have been
Hidden,
happening are going to continue happening. They've been doing it for ever.
Say it,
hidden
Jay.
in plain sight.
That's right. Hidden in plain sight. Yep.
If you don't know what to look for, you won't never see it.
Yeah.
Got to read between the lines. I mean, especially in media, especially in movies and entertainment, that shit is in there. And it's like you could read like allegory, metaphor, perfect examples. Just you read a story, you think it's a story, but if you know the code, if you know how to decipher and read between the lines, there is hidden messages all around you.
And anyone
Symbolism.
can do it. Don't think you can't. If you're out there hearing this right now, you can. It's so easy. Once just a couple rabbit holes, all of a sudden you're seeing it, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, that's crazy." At first, I mean, that's how my wife was. I mean, she came from her mom's super crazy liberal family came, and I started telling her stuff, and roll your eyes, But then all of a sudden, now it's every damn thing you come in contact with
Hmm.
these days that it's connecting dots. You're like, that's weird. Why is this happening? Over and over and over again. Why? Here's a question for you guys. Here's something for the people out there. Get on Netflix, click on any of the new 2024, 2025 comedy specials, click on it and watch how long it takes until they start making jokes about fucking kids. It's like
Interesting.
3 minutes, every single one. Doesn't matter who it is. Every single one. It's inappropriate sexual jokes about children.
Hmm.
Maybe 5 minutes. I mean, give it 10 minutes. You're gonna see. You're gonna see, and then it's the whole thing. I mean, I've had to shut off all the new ones because it starts out good, and then all of a sudden it's just jokes about diddling kids, and
Look
I
at
can't
Disney.
do it. I can't do it. Yeah, Disney too. I mean, it's everywhere. All this stuff, everything that we talk about, you can see in media today. So it's like, that's crazy. Someone sat down one day and like pointed a bunch of, connect the dots. We all played that, little game when we were kids. And all of a sudden, all these dots connect, and it's like coincidence, 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 coincidence. It just keeps going.
Well, perfect example of that is right here. Well, stupid ass Reddit. The Little Mermaids. Here. Remember the Little Mermaid? Remember the controversy with that shit? The big penis towers in the background?
Oh yeah. And that could just be written off as like the dude was perverted or whatever. But when you get it 1,000 times in the next 30 years,
Well,
what's
I mean,
going on?
Aladdin, where he's up on the balcony and the tiger's going up on him, and he's like, "Good kitty, take your clothes off, take your clothes off." It's like,
Yeah,
what
the Lion
fuck?
King with the stars and it says sex.
Sex, yep.
That's all the old stuff, though. I mean, the new stuff is all accept this tranny for who they really are, and
There
you
you
should
go.
be trans too. And you know what goes with that? You should not tell your parents because they won't understand. Because it's not cool to talk to your parents. You should go to school and whisper it to a counselor. And if you live in a state, that doesn't have it, but a liberal enough state, they'll pay and drive you secretly during school to go across the border to get hormone treatment and get your tits cut off.
Mhm.
I mean, it's changed now. Thank God for Trump. I mean, that's the thing is we're sitting here, most people are like, oh, fucking egg prices. Yeah, well, kids aren't getting fucking butchered anymore because of Trump. So I'm down with that. I'll pay, 3 times the amount the eggs are now for it. I don't give a shit. Let the tariffs work. That's how it works, right? We go, oh, yeah, we're going to make it too expensive to buy from China. Okay, so people are like, shit, everything's expensive now because the American stuff is expensive. Well, you know what we're going to do, right? We're going to bring it here and we're going to start making it. And it's going to be just as cheap or just as cheap as it was for China. And that's how it's going to work. And then all of a sudden it's better quality and we don't have to worry. We don't have to worry about, the Chinese slave labor, the Uyghurs or
Mhm.
whatever,
Yep.
and it's this country is going to be great. And what I see so far with Trump, he's setting the baseline. So it takes, years to fix this stuff. He's setting it up so the next guy can't come in. If by happenstance they're able to steal another election, come in and ruin this country. It's going to take 2.5, 3 years to get the ball rolling. So it's just back and forth. It's like, we're going to fuck it up. Nope, we're going to fix it. We're going to fuck it up. We're going to fix it. But if you can keep it at a middle ground, kind of, it keeps everyone great. Because I'm telling you, if Kamala was in office right now, I don't know where we'd be. I might be in a cave somewhere right now, to tell you the damn truth, because it was going to get ugly.
Yeah, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You're continuing to make the progress forward, at least with him.
Yeah.
Whereas Kamala, you'd make a giant. It's easy to, like what we're trying to say, I think, is it's easy just do a few videos to become red pilled. And once you have the eyes to see, you can't unsee what you've seen. Once you know, you can't unknow.
Mm-hmm.
You see it everywhere. Jay's a perfect example of that. Right, Jay?
Oh, Jay knows a lot more than he says.
Yeah.
Jay's one of those people that really took the whole listen twice, speak once very seriously. He picks it up. I start connecting a dot, and he's like, "Gotcha." Already there.
Oh, you're just finding out?
Yeah. He knows about it. It's great. All right, guys. Any last thing? Looks like we almost did an hour and 30 this time.
Yeah, any more last things, we're going to go down another rabbit hole. So
I know. All right. Well, for those of you that are here live with us, thank you very much. But for those of you that are going to be seeing this, the hundreds of you that are going to be seeing this, thank you very much as well. Leave a comment. We'll always get back to you. So if you see this tomorrow, a week from now, or whatever, month, year, who knows, just let us know, and we'll try to get back to you. Yeah, show some love. And I think this one I'm going to download, and I'm going to cut it up. Hour and a half, throw in some 15-minute intervals in there, and we'll get a few videos out of it, so break it down. But thank you guys for coming, and it's always great having you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
All right, we are out.